Hey everyone. So I got some good news and no bad news. About every 6 months or so, I get a blood test done because I'm in my late 50s and it's just a good idea just to check on what's going on inside. Things might look okay outside, but as you get older, systems start falling off the wagon a little bit. So the good news is, a while back, my bloods were out a little bit and I actually was in the pre-diabetic range. It doesn't mean that you're going to become a type 2 diabetic, but it means things are going in the wrong direction. This had never happened to me before. My diet I thought was pretty good, but it had to make me rethink. And to be honest, I was putting a little bit more weight on around the waist, and I just thought, look, maybe that's normal for someone who's in their late 50s and not particularly doing a lot of exercise other than a bit of surfing and a bit of walking. But then I thought, no, I'm not gonna, this is not good. I'm not going to stand for this. So luckily I've got a background in science. I've got a science degree, and also I also have a degree in psychology. So I know how to change my own behavior. Changing other people's behavior is harder, but it's, at least if you've got the know-how about how behavior works, you can change your own behavior a bit. So what did I do? As a scientist, when you're doing an experiment, there's only one person in this experiment, so it's not a valid one. And this is not medical advice because it's not based on a large enough sample. N=1 is not a large enough sample for an experiment. However, this is my personal story and it's a good one. So what do you do when you do a science experiment? You hold all the variables constant, i.e. you don't change any of the things that you're doing in your life, other than one thing. You do one thing at a time. So I kept everything else I was doing the same, about the amount of exercise, the amount of sleep, that sort of thing. And I changed one thing. So I did a bit of research on YouTube, as you're doing right now. And the consistent message I was getting was that carbohydrates can be a problem as you get older. So what did I do? I went hard for 3 months because the next blood test was 3 months away. I went very hard on the carbohydrates. No bread. You'll see here, this is an empty space. I'm pointing to it because it's where the toaster used to be. There is no toaster anymore. That's a behavioral change. If there's a no toaster, I can't have toast in the morning. That's carbohydrate. That's gone from my life. It's remained gone. I don't do toast in the morning anymore. More about that later. So no toast, no bread, no flour. That cuts out a lot of things like pastries and that sort of thing. No rice, no pasta. These are things I love very much. And I realized over the first few weeks, I was really missing them. But after about probably into a month in, I really wasn't missing them anymore. My body wasn't craving that hit because carbohydrates, they are a type of sugar, I suppose. I should also say, as I was going hard, I cut out high carbohydrate vegetables, no bananas, no carrots, but everything else, all the other green leafy vegetables, everything, that was all fine. At first I was trying to keep the life that I had by looking for recipes online about how to make bread that didn't have carbohydrates in them. And you can, and they're great, but they're filled with nuts and seeds. As you can see, this is a massive jar of pumpkin seeds, which I eat every day. Some pumpkin seeds, and got almonds, that sort of thing. Honestly, I prefer to just eat these things as they are rather than making a bread out of them. What happens when you make a loaf of bread out of nuts and seeds? It's about as heavy as the average house brick. You can toast it. It takes a long time. But again, it's kind of like your lips are climbing a cliff rather than eating bread. It's hard going. It's not bad, bit of butter on it, but geez, it's a meal. Getting through a slice of nut and seed bread, it's hard going. So that's a good meal in itself, but it certainly didn't replace that feel of toast and coffee in the morning. Still have the coffee, but I've changed to smoothies, protein powders, a lot of berries, yogurt. I'm not going to give you a recipe. There's so many YouTube videos about how to eat on a low carb diet or a no carb diet, as I did for 3 months. How did it go? Bang. I was out of the range after 3 months, well clear of it. It was all back to normal. So that's the good news. But what have I done since? Well, the experiment continues. So what I've done now that I know that that variable, carbohydrates, is something that was increasing my blood sugar level to a pre-diabetic level, that's not good. What I've done is I'm slowly reintroducing carbohydrates, but I'm changing some other variables. So I've upped my exercise, joined the gym, going 3 times a week, doing a lot of resistance training. It's actually improved my surfing. Really glad I'm doing it. I'm paddling into waves that I would have missed before. So I've really brought back the power in my arms and chest and back that I'd lost. Now, hopefully a higher muscle volume, or maybe not a volume, but a muscle power and use, hopefully that'll help process the carbohydrates better. So that's the good news story. Just a quick one. And I'll keep you up to date with the next blood test, which I'll have in about 3 months' time.